Hi everyone, welcome back to my Monster Hunter World Let's Play, Hunting the New World. And today we're going to be looking at Astera, and going over what to do here, and a whole bunch of useful information for beginners.
Over here.
This is the way up to the smithy, and these are lifts, which I'll get to when we're done here. Because right now, we really can't use them. They want us to walk around. And luckily it's not that big of an area, so walking around is not that bad.
My grandfather was with the first. That was a long time ago. Me? I'm not with any fleet. Born and bred right here. Never even been to the old world.
Unfortunately, one thing about this game is you'll have a lot of characters that really aren't well developed. Like I said, the story's kind of second to the hunting itself. So it's kind of hit or miss.
You'll be here a lot.
Wow! Look at this place. Want to check it out?
And him saying you'll be there a lot is not an understatement. This is a place you'll be at a lot. Talking to the second fleet master here, he is the guy who creates the armor and weapons for you. Right now though, we don't have any weapons on us, so he doesn't really want to talk to us. This guy here is actually for the provisions team. You'll see him down bottom later. And from her you can buy basic armor and weapons. Now you can also craft those because every weapon goes off a few trees. From the beginning you have the bone and the iron tree, and you can buy the base weapons and armor from her for those. So, well, let me clarify. The weapons need a base form. The armor does not. The armor you just get from materials you have. Weapons need a base form first, and they branch out from there. Kind of like you're adding pieces to the weapon to change it up. As my best friend's one, I don't think it was a cousin or something, or one of his little brother's friends said, "Dude, you literally just killed that thing and took its bone, and now you're smashing things with it." That's pretty accurate. Now up here's a little place they're not going to show you, but I found it while just exploring, and I thought it was a really cool area, a nice viewpoint, and I just wanted to share it with you guys. And actually, it does have one little purpose that I will show you later on. But yeah, you have a nice little view from this vantage point here. You can actually see the second area of the Wildspire Waste from right here. You have a little birdie. What's up? And of course you have the Ancient Forest, which is, I think, over there. Yeah, there's Ancient Forest. So it's pretty cool you could see some of the areas you're actually going to go to right from here. So one thing about this game is the level design is really cool. And it is very uniform, and it's one of the things I do enjoy about this game. Actually, I enjoy it a lot. I'm pretty biased. I must admit, if this being my first Monster Hunter, it's really sucked me in. After all, I'm starting a second character to do a Let's Play after having 60 hours on my other character, so kind of like it a little bit. Now over here is an area we can't get to, and I can't pan the camera, but we won't have to worry about that place till a lot later. Up here is the canteen, which is super useful. You'll also be spending a lot of time up here too. But first,
This here's our canteen.
Hey, over there!
I know I'm trying to say but first, I was going to say, but first let's get our Palico back. A lot of people pointed this out, and even I felt it. Why don't your Palico go to her? But then, as I realized, we're technically teams, so we're both his owner, not just us, even though we created them. Because a lot of people were like, what the hell, Palico? Why do you go to her and not us? I felt the same way too.
After tracking a migrating elder dragon across the sea, the Fifth Fleet have finally arrived in Astera. Give them a warm welcome. They're a fine group, worthy comrades who will help see the Research Commission's long efforts finally rewarded. Would you like to say a few words?
Thank you, sir. We're ready to roll up our sleeves and get our hands dirty.
This here is the Commission's core team. You should all get to know each other.
Looking forward to it.
Now, down to business. The latest monster to make the Elder Crossing is known as Zora Magdaros, a huge monster with a mountain of fire upon its back. The Research Commission's job is to discover exactly why the Elder Dragons are migrating to the New World.
Elder dragons have been with us since the dawn of time, altering the ecosystem, reshaping the land, leaving disaster in their wake. Once every decade or so, they flock to this continent. But for what reason?
With the Fifth's help, we will find the missing link.
Here, here.
Now we're talking!
Hunters, for the time being, I need you to focus on investigating our Jagras problem and securing Astera. Start by investigating the Jagras' habitat. Find out what makes them tick, and we'll go from there.
Right. We're on it, sir.
Everyone else, you know the drill. Make sure these hunters have everything they need.
Now we're talking!
You two, make it a priority to learn how we do things around here. You'll find good teachers, so don't be afraid to ask.
You heard him. Stick with me and you'll have no problems.
The Fifth's banner promises a change in the wind. It's your job to fulfill that promise. All right, dismissed.
Alright, and with that, we are very close to going on our first mission. But we have to walk around Astera a little bit more and get used to some things. Of course, since we're going to be living here, we have to have a room, right? So now we get to see our room, which has a lot of very useful things in it. This is your room for the time being, a shared living quarters. Now there's quite a few things that are very important to note while you're here, and one that's just a lot of fun that I really enjoy.
We've placed some basic gear for you in that equipment box. Make sure to choose a weapon that suits you.
Alright, now you walk around here. You can't see it. Eventually people will be over here. Those two people we always talk to, since it's a shared living quarters. If you walk over here, you can talk to your Palico and you can manage them. From here, you can check his status. You can change his equipment. Right now we don't have anything really to change to, but eventually you'll get new equipment for them to use here, and you'll have a whole bunch of different armors for them that do a whole bunch of different things. And you can even sell equipment that you don't need anymore. So this is where you can manage him. You can also manage him from the item box when you're out on the field, but not just the normal one here in Astera. And as you'll see here, there are 14 different hunter weapons. Now, for this playthrough, I'm going to be focusing on the hammer and the insight glaive, maybe the bow guns, we'll see. But I really do want to try those two. I've seen my buddy use the hammer and it seems really fun. And the insight glaive just seems like a lot of fun to do a lot of crazy stuff. So those are the two we're going to be focusing on. And the great thing about these weapons, they are very varied. They're for different skill levels, and they are all unique playstyles. Now, the bowgun and heavy bowgun are pretty similar, and as are the bow. They feel like you're playing a third-person shooter, but one's more mobile than the others, and one type uses special ammo, and one uses special coatings. So they do have different mechanics to them. And some of these are more advanced than others, and I definitely would recommend you go with either the sword and shield, the dual blades, the longsword, or the bow if you're just starting out. Those seem to be the most user-friendly to begin with. Like I said, I'm going to stick with the hammer, so we can hit things and give them giant concussions. And you see how there's a little exclamation point over the housekeeper's head? That means they have something to talk to you about. Sometimes this can be quests, sometimes this can just be rewards, or just some other information about the hunt you're going on or the state of Astera. It just means, hey, look at me. Now here he's going to tell us now these are joint living quarters, and he's going to just, be here, helping you out. Kind of going over what I was talking to you guys about. Now you can't see it here yet, but there is going to be eventually a manage pets option to this area, which is something I really like about your home, and I'll get more into that once we actually have some pets to put up here. For right now, I want to show you guys the training area though. I showed you guys those 14 weapons, and the good thing is you're not locked into a choice with those weapons. You choose one, you go with it, and if you like it, great. If not, you can switch at any time. And really, before you leave this room, I would highly recommend coming here and just playing around with the weapons. In here, you can play around with all 14 weapons and just see how they are, see how they play. And if you like how they feel, go out on the quest with them. I know this is a pretty simple weapon too. It's actually somewhat beginner friendly. Just a little bit slow on the swing, so you gotta be careful where you are. And when I jokingly said about giving monsters concussions, that's about right, because this is all about going right on their head when they're down and just smashing them. It's also because hammers do blunt damage, so they're very good for dealing with monsters that have really tough heads, and there are quite a few of those. Also, when you're choosing weapons, let me sheath it here.
You can use the item box to manage your inventory.
You also see that this does not have it there. I guess maybe it doesn't. But certain ones are different kinds of damage, whether it be blunt or sharp. And I do think when you're in the smith, it'll show you that. Apparently right here it doesn't. Just the generic attack number. And of course, the bigger slow weapons will do more damage. But don't think that just because this does 112 and this does 416, that these are less viable than that. Every weapon in this game is viable. Please understand that. The dual blades you can hit really hard, really fast. You can do a flurry of attacks, whereas I can land one good solid hit with this. So there's no one good playstyle. I'm sure there might be optimal builds for doing the most damage out there, but really play what you enjoy and what feels good to you. That would be my number one suggestion. Alright, so since I was telling you this, item box also allow you to sell your equipment that you have that maybe you don't need anymore, sell items, manage your crafting list, which this is really big, really huge. And I'll go over this a little bit more once we actually have items to craft. But this is what I meant last time I said about item management and micro managing things. But for the most part, this crafting system really helps you bypass a lot of that, because you can turn on and off auto crafting for things, which make it really, really good. There's different categories. There's your ammo, there's your traps, and there's your healing, with different pages for each. And a lot of good items to have on you are potions, mega potions, antidotes. Herbal medicine really helps in a pinch, especially early on. I've heard Farcasters are a very, very good item to make, and not that hard to make early on. For traps, the barrel bombs and large barrel bombs are very useful, and I will show those off later on as we need to. Flash pods, screamer pods, dung pods are very, very important. I'll get into each of those a little bit later on too. And these you really won't need unless you're using the bow or the bow gun. So this third category can be completely forgotten if you're not using those. Oh, another thing I didn't say was really useful are the shock, pitfall trap, and trank bombs. And item management, I'll get into this later because we only have these, set amount of items here. But there's a lot you can do with item management that really, really will help you out in the long run. So I'll show that as we get more items later on. But for now, let's talk to Mr. Housekeeper and get out of here. Alright, now they said the handler is at the canteen, so let's go meet her. Alright, and now we're almost ready to go on our quest.
Leads. And the ones they deem worth our attention become quests.
And as you see, as I said before, we have exclamation points down here, right here, and up here. And one of these is just the commander kind of talking to us about our mission. Now, he kind of goes over the idea of what they're doing here. You know, they're not here to kill the Elder Dragons, to punish the Elder Dragons. They're here to study them, to understand what's going on here. One thing you might think with Monster Hunter is that you're out to kill monsters. Well, unless the message says to slay a certain thing, you actually don't have to kill it. Capturing is a viable thing for any situation besides, like I said, unless it says slay the monster. And actually, you get more rewards if you capture a monster based on slaying it. You do miss out on the chance to carve the monster, but you also get better rewards. So it really is your own preference. And this is what I mean. The handler could be a little annoying last episode, because as I'm sitting here talking to you guys, she's going, hey, listen, hey. It does get a little bit annoying. This is our guy to get items early on. He's very, very useful. You can buy potions, antidotes. These things would help with bleeding, which I don't know why that's there. You don't see bleeding until almost where I am in the game. But you can buy barrel bombs from him, barrels to make barrel bombs, trap tools to make traps, a whole bunch of things, different ammos and coatings. And his inventory will eventually, get additions as the game goes on. Man, I really can't talk today. I'm sorry. Over here we have two places that I'll talk about later. 3 places actually I'll talk about later because we can't really do anything with them right now. But the last thing I want to talk to you guys about in this episode are the lifts. Now, regardless of where this actually attaches to, you can use these to go to either the workshop to smith things, the waterfall bridge, which isn't useful to us until we get our upgraded apartment, and the canteen, which you should go to before every mission you do. There's also the gathering hub, which is to kind of interact with multiplayer, but since we're still in the beginning here, we don't even have access to that yet. So let's go up to the canteen, which is where the handler is. See, it's nice and easy, no loading screen, and it can save a bunch of time instead of walking up all these stairs. I love using the lifts. Now, the canteen, we were here before, but I didn't really talk about why it's so important. When you eat here, you get buffs, whether it be health, attack, defense, elemental resistance, or stamina increases. It's super useful, and if you go out there without this, you are really handicapping yourself, especially on weapons that are high stamina like the bow and the dual blades. You want that extra stamina, and I don't know what I'm trying to say here. You want the extra stamina. I'm trying to say that. Sorry, I'm also watching the Overwatch League in the corner of my eye, so that kind of caught my attention while I was talking there. But yeah, before you go out, you'd want to sit here and eat. And this kind of goes over what I was talking about. Reading the tutorials is very important because the tutorials do give you very valuable insight. Actually, as I say that, I do remember something I wanted to show you guys with the weapons too. But here kind of explains that meals increase your stats, give you boosts, as the Meowscaler chef said. You want to go for gains, and you can eat every 10 minutes. So, and after you faint, you do lose the benefits of eating. So, be aware of that. Right, I'm going to eat. Let's see. Let's do this. See, health plus 10, Palico health plus 4, and stamina plus 25, and a small attack boost. And you get treated to this nice little cutscene here, which will change as you increase the amount of ingredients they have. It's really charming, really cute, and I absolutely love all these little tiny animations and stuff. Alright, so we've gone over most of Astera that we can right now. I'm going to be wrapping it up, but first I want to show you the one thing I mentioned about with items. Or with weapons, I mean. Hunter's Notes. This is a very valuable area. Right now, our Monster Field Guide doesn't really have much in it, but we'll level that up as we go. This is a nice little area that shows you a whole bunch of different things, and is where you can find monster weaknesses and stuff like that. But what I want to show you is the weapon controls panel. When you go to choose a weapon, checking this out is very, very important. For every weapon here, it gives you a breakdown of the controls and a little bit about the weapon. Like it tells you here about charge, how holding down charge, will extend stamina just to power. 3 levels of charge, each of their own attack variation. Power charge, boosts attack and stun power and renders you immune to flinching while attacking. This is all very, very useful information. And power charge is done, like I said, while hitting B while charging. So, very, very interesting, very good to know for the hammer. This shows you some useful combos and some additional useful combos. But for other weapons, like the hunting horn, which has a whole bunch of different things for notes, or like the more complicated weapons like the charge blade, it shows like axe controls, useful combos, and this explains kind of the charge gauge and some of your attacks block, and every weapon has different things to it. Encyclave has a ton of things for it. So before you pick a weapon, or even after you pick a weapon, going through and reading the weapon controls is highly, highly recommended. Alright guys, that'll do it about it for me right now. And next episode, we're going to finally go on a mission and beat some things with a giant hammer. Hope you guys have been enjoying, and I'll talk to you later.